Well, we're back. Never seems to stop. I've given up on the roof for today. It's cramming on, I guess, 1700 or 5 for you fine folks that don't know there's 24 hours in the day. So, it's almost beer 30 for some folks. But for me, just because I'm done with the roof doesn't mean it's quitting time. It just means I'm off the roof. I don't quit real easy. Behind me, I've got $528, I think it was, of R19 insulation. Yeah. You don't give it away. So the R19, this is faced, and it's made to go in between 2x6s, 2x6 walls and floors is what they say. Now you start playing with code. You're supposed to put like R30 in your roof, ceilings, whatever. I don't have the money to put like 2x12 rafters up to be able to stuff R30 insulation, that friggin' thick in my ceiling. It just ain't gonna happen. So you know what's going in it? R19. It'll work. So the walls, the roof, everything's getting R19. You've already seen the floor, that's got 2 inches of foam. So, I'm not crawling around on the roof anymore. I can work in here till I can't see anymore. And all I gotta do is just jump up and down on climb up and down on a little step ladder and just stuff it up in the bays and hit it with Dave's stapler to hold it up in there. It's pretty easy, boring stuff, but it's easy. There's progress that can be done. We know the roof's tight, so it's a step forward, man. So the first thing I did was I changed my razor blade into knife, because trying to cut insulation with a dull blade doesn't work real good. It's like a brand new sharp one. Alright, I know I need 82 inches thereabouts. Alright. Oh, right about here. These ends will be the fun bays. Just stuff them in there like so. We'll get there. Get it to hold itself up there first, and then start doing something with it. Well, looks like I'm gonna get 5 bays per roll with about 4 feet left over. All right, that's good to know. The leftover will not go to waste. That's gonna go right in the walls. Well, it's getting dark. Too dark to see. Yeah, I got a corner right there. I gotta stuff some up in there, but that's all right. I got this much done. That's 2 rolls. And there's the remainder off each roll. Just lay it in the wall. Staple it in there. Hey folks, I don't know if you can hear it. I'm getting jammed up again, but it's raining. So no leaks. We'll take that. Roof's not finished yet. So I'm not gonna waste today. Gonna work on get some outlets put in, light switches, a couple of lights hanging on the wall, not the finished one, but just a couple of pigtails hanging there with some bulbs. And work on doing insulation. Good inside project. Make use of a rainy day. Well, since it's raining, I'm going to work on coming down this side of the roof with more insulation. This should be fun with a stuffed up nose, wearing a N95 dust mask. Yeah, yippee, huh? So I'm going to try and get the ceiling done. And then, well, I pretty well got that wall cleaned off. Insulate that wall so I have this side all done. I made it. Look at that. One side is done. Just noticed I got some insulation catching a ride there. Alright, A1. This side is 100%. I'm going to start working on this wall behind me. And what that's going to do is, 1, start getting this wall done. 2, start using up some of these rolls of insulation that are in the way. So when I start going down this other side of the roof, I don't have to move them again. So kind of a strategy going on here. See how it works. So I got to measure my stud length again because I can't remember what it is. And start cutting some and start putting her in. Here's a pile of insulation. I've just burned up, I think, 3 rolls, finishing off that side of the ceiling. I brought 7 more with me this trip to go along with what I had on hand, because Hurricane Helene just landed down there in the Gulf Coast, and with all the devastation that's going to cause, we could probably expect in the very near future to see prices go up on building materials. So insulation will go up, you know, shingles will go up, sheathing will go up, everything's going to go up because, you know, supply demand, everything going down there. So I grab more insulation. I'm going to bust my butt here and try and get these 7 rolls in, see how much more I need to get before that happens. These 2 short pieces here are leftovers from the rolls and the ceiling. They ain't going to waste. Hey, we're coming. I got a little bit of stuffing I got to do up in there. That was filled with 2 end pieces. Got to finish those 2 short pieces and that narrow piece. But I'm getting there. Same thing by that window, the 2 pieces underneath. and the narrow piece next to it. I'm skipping those because I don't want to cut up good insulation to put in there. I'll wait till I get all the way around, then I'll come back to them and be able to use up scraps. So this wall is almost done with the exception of that. I've got 3 more bays. Chugging along. This wall, all the big stuff is finished. I had a few ends left over, so I stuffed them in there. And I went around the corner, start working down this wall. Turning and burning. Taking a few breaks, but we're gaining. Getting pretty dark in here. The camera makes it look brighter, but it's at that point without artificial light, can't really see what I'm doing. Well, maiden voyage. Let's see if we can make some light. Hey, look at that. They work. I want to keep working in here, and yeah, the days are getting shorter. By 1900, it's freaking dark now. And today's a dark, gloomy day anyway, so that ain't helping matters. So I don't have the 3-way switch rigged up for those lights yet. So let me show you what I did. I admit it, I rigged the jury. This is called jury rigging. So I got my wires coming in, my 14-3 for my 3-way control, and then the ceiling fan out there, and then that one I labeled hall for the hall lights. So to make them work for now, it's always good to have stuff on hand. I just installed that old plug that I had, plugged it in the outlet. Hey, you know what? Gets the job done. So now I have enough light, I can continue to work. Yeah, these ain't the permanent lights. These are just pigtails with a couple bulbs screwed in. But you'll get the job done for the time being until the wall goes up. Then I'll put in the real ones. The walls are almost done. Got a few more little pieces to do. A couple more full bays on the end, but I figured I'd get insulation out of the way before I mess with those. Then I got to do up in the gable end. And then get back on the ceiling at some point. So, yeah. We're getting there. Here's a good camp breakfast. Got some sausage links, and in a minute I'll show you where them links came from. And making up some scrambled eggs. Yeah, it's almost ready. So those sausage links have been thawed out, so unfrozen, for 2 years. And I'm gonna eat them. Oh, I'm gonna die. No, I'm not. Right there. That's what's in the frying pan, what's missing. So, in October of 22, I jarred these up, which is very, very, very easy to do. And then they've been sitting on the shelf. So now I'm getting around to eating them. I can eat them right straight out of the jar if I want to. Cold, they're already cooked in here. But you know, warmer is better, right? It's like an MRE. Yeah, you can choke it down cold, but some heat always helps. So as time goes on and becomes available, you know, homestead out here, right? Trying to get a little farm going and all that good stuff. I'll show you some canning, and you can find it all over the internet, no problem at all, but I do it too. And we'll get the pressure canner up and running, and we'll can up meat and other stuff. So it's a good way to be able to, you know, harvest birds or game meat or whatever, and not have to worry about putting it in the freezer, running out of freezer space, or running out of power, or something like that. And you can sit on the shelf, just keep it cool and dark, and you don't have to worry about it going bad. Hey, it's another day. I'm still all stuffy. So, supposed to clear off later. Supposed to be mostly sunny, is what they're guessing. And it's just way too wet on the roof to try and do anything right now. I'm not going to do anything stupid. So I'm going to continue working in here this morning and finish plugging in my small holes around the windows here and see if I can get down the other side of the roof so we can say that everything in here is 100% insulated. By the time I get done with that, it'll be probably lunchtime. It's about 8:30 now. And maybe by then things will be dried off enough that this afternoon I can start doing a little bit on the roof. We'll see how it goes. Making progress. Closing up on it. Closing up on it. Got 9 bays left. Yeah. At least I remembered to put in the ceiling boxes for the lights in the bedrooms before I put the insulation in. So the boxes are in and wires are run down onto the walls for when the interior walls get put in. I can wire them up. So it's after lunchtime now and cut a few more pieces and get them up in there. So ceiling is almost done. All right, the ceiling is 100% done. Sweet. All I got left now is just a few bays down on that end wall and a couple of bays under some windows. Closing up on it. Ain't far out now. And I have one roll of insulation left. And I'm going to have some extra. So I had just enough with me. Perfect. So these little bits and pieces, I had a few in a pile here. And I'm using them up. Stuffing headers. So if you happen to watch the framing video, I didn't do solid headers. I got box headers, so they're hollow between them. I ain't worried about solid headers. I've got one rafter on top of these headers. There's no weight on them. They ain't going nowhere. So here's what I'm doing. You know, if I had a big wide window, like a bay window or something like that, and I had multiple rafters having to rest on a header, oh yeah, we'd be going bigger headers and they'd be solid. They wouldn't be hollow in between. So just tore off the paper and just stuff her up in there, make sure it goes out into there like so. Yeah, that gets rid of one piece of scrap. And I'll be making some more scrap. So I gotta finish stuffing the door header and stuff 1, 2, 3, 4 more plus this one, so 4.5 more window headers, something like that. It's the last roll. this is the end of it, guys. I got 1, 2, 5 windows left to stuff. Hopefully I've got enough insulation on the roll to do it. Might have some more out in the shed. So I just cut a 25-inch long piece, ripped the paper off, and take it lengthwise and stuff it up there in half. There. Two windows left, just 2. So I need 50 inches of insulation, and that's what I got left right there. Maybe, what, 1.5 feet? So I don't have enough. But out in the shed, there's a partial roll of R13. So I'm going to use that. I'm gonna use this up too, just to get rid of it. But the R13, it's made for 2x4 walls. It's just not as thick as this R19. It's only about, yay thick. So I'll just have to use a little more of it to get those headers stuffed up. But you know what? It's right here. She's going in. Last one. So you might notice the difference. R13. So I got 2 pieces, same length. Just gonna lay them together like a sandwich. Then I'm gonna stuff them up in there. They're gonna go. I'll get them. It'll be a hard push because that's a little bit thicker than the R19. Having the 2 of those together. There, look at that. Probably gonna try and push down a little bit, but that's all right. When we dress up the window, I'll take care of it. So with that, 100% done on insulation. That took me the better part of 2 days. I worked on it all day yesterday, and I worked on it all day today. It's about 17 o'clock, 1700, so 5, and just finished. And I've taken some breaks, but it's a lot having to keep getting up and down, up and down, up and down, and stapling it and measuring it out on the floor and cutting it, and cutting the slits to go around the wire, because if you don't cut a slit to go around the wire and you get a wire in the wall, the insulation is just going to go like this, and you have a big air gap. So cutting that slit lets it push its way through. But it's done, finally. So let me show you. Yee-haw! Those gaps right there. We'll get to that when we do a little more exterior work, then we'll plug them gaps up, and then build this exterior wall out, or interior wall out rather. That'll be a different video. There she is. In all her glory. All insulated. I'm liking it. I sure am glad to have that air stapler that Dave found. That made life so much easier. Cable ends all filled in. That wire hanging out right there, you see. That's going to run across the top of the wall that's not there yet for an outside light. I've mentioned it in a couple other videos. The air staple gun is friggin' awesome. And no, Arrow is not paying or sponsoring me to say that. I'm just telling you. Compared to using the swing hammer type, especially overhead, that sucks. Or a regular staple gun, having to do that all friggin' day, especially overhead if you're reaching. That little bugger, you know, you can just reach out. It's got a little safety right there. Push up, squeeze the trigger. Boom, 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 boom. That's just more like a little pop, 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 pop. And I mean, you can throw staples all friggin' day and your hand doesn't get tired. It's awesome. So, yeah, all insulated. We'll see you in the next phase.